Well, the case of Livia Smith has been a puzzling and frustrating one for Metro Police. Last winter, she was found dead just hours after taking a cab from a popular night spot. News 2's Chris Bundgaard has been digging into the case and uncovering new details.
Her life was cut short in a manner almost unspeakable. A brother told us he could barely talk about what happened to his sister.
Leaving someone on the side of the road like a animal.
A makeshift memorial is still testament to where Livia Smith was found dead. It was on a quiet East Nashville street last February, within sight of her home.
She was just a sunny golden child.
Clutching a portrait of the young makeup artist who is now gone, Livia Smith's mother, brother, and best friend hoped for answers last February. 7 months later, investigators can't tell them much for certain.
We've gone through 1,000 scenarios as to what could have happened, but we just don't know exactly what did happen.
In looking into this case, here's what we do know about the last few hours of Livia Smith's life. She had been at some bars in the popular Five Points area in East Nashville. According to police, on February 20th, Livia was walked to a cab by a female friend. She and other witnesses saw Livia get in a van-type vehicle alone with a male driver. It was about 2 a.m. on a night when the temperature was in the 20s.
She was found, I guess, right about where the memorial is set up. She was lying right here in this lane of traffic.
Police think the van-like cab brought her here, but Livia may have wanted to quickly get out of the cab while it was still moving, fearing possibly robbery or sexual assault.
It just looked like she just came right out on her back and just landed straight back on her head and struck her head on the pavement.
She died here?
She did.
Police wanted to talk with the driver of a yellow-looking cab Livia was said to have gotten in 2 hours before her body was discovered on the road.
If we could find the driver, identify the driver of the cab, I mean, that would bust this case wide open.
But drivers and their companies showed no record of Livia Smith ever taking a cab outside the Nashville bar.
Talking to all of the ones that normally hang in this area, they say they know nothing about it.
A lot of it boiled down to these cab companies not keeping really good records.
Or a cab driver illegally not recording a fare. It's all left a family enraged.
I mean, it's going to drive me crazy until they find who is responsible for this.
Metro investigators believe someone out there knows what happened to Livia Smith on that winter night. They just haven't come forward yet. Chris Bundgaard, Nashville's News 2.
And there is still more to this story. Tomorrow night, a warning for women who take cabs home late at night. It comes from investigators, and they offer ways for these women to stay safe.
Well, last winter, the body of Livia Smith was found within sight of her East Nashville home. She had left downtown Nashville in a cab late that night. Well, now comes a warning from police and a reaction from the agency that regulates cabs. Chris Bundgaard continues with part 2 of Livia's story.
It's just evil. It's unfathomable.
Beyond a brother's grief for his only sibling, the death of Livia Smith is troubling, like what one investigator of her case says about women late at night who have been drinking and then take a cab.
There's a lot of danger out there that I wouldn't have thought of, but there's a lot of things going on out there that most people don't know about, and I didn't know about.
Until this case.
Until this case brought it to my attention.
Outside a popular East Nashville bar in the chilly early morning hours of February 20th, Livia Smith hailed a cab. She got in alone.
The only thing we know for sure is that the cab driver was a male.
2 hours after being seen leaving in the cab, Livia's body was found on this quiet East Nashville street, 2 blocks from her home.
She was lying flat on her back like this.
According to one police theory, the young woman tried to flee the cab while it was still moving, fearing something like robbery or even sexual assault.
And we know that she fell and hit the back of her head severe enough to kill her.
Investigators were soon stunned to learn there was no record of Livia ever getting into a Nashville cab the night she died, or any driver who saw her do it.
Everyone we talked to just says, we don't know anything, and I find that real hard to believe.
Nashville's 800 cabs are regulated by the Metro Traffic and Licensing Commission. It has 3 inspectors.
Now, I think most of our drivers are good. Could there be some people out there? Sure. If we know it, we're going to do something about it.
In the aftermath of Livia Smith's death, the board regulating taxis mandated that all Nashville cabs have GPS by year's end.
I do have GPS. We have computerized system. They know exactly the minute we're in, the minute we're out.
Tragically, that did not happen with Livia Smith.
I don't want to see any other families have to deal with what we went through.
Family, police officers, and friends of the woman now urge anyone taking a cab to take pictures of its license plate, the driver's permit, and text a friend those pictures and that you're in the cab, all in the hopes of not having any more Livia Smiths out there. Chris Bundgaard, Nashville's News 2.
Just within the last few days, the Metro Commission said all cabs must have GPS installed. And News 2 has also learned random checks will ensure cabbies activate the system.